Hey Mari peeps, today I'm painting a fun colorful cactus for Valentine's Day using salt for texture and a water brush pen for soft blending and playful details. Now this one isn't about perfection, it's more about experimenting, letting watercolor do its thing, and creating something that's bright and cheerful for Valentine's Day. So if you love loose watercolors, textured tricks, or playful palettes, this one is for you. And for patrons, thank you so much for the name because we decided to call this one Cactus Crush. Isn't that perfect? If you aren't yet a patron, check it out. Head over there. We do lots of longer, unedited tutorials, and you also get access to the YouTube channels early. Okay, so I kind of love the idea of a cactus for Valentine's Day. I think it's really cute, a little quirky, and it's not your typical hearts and roses theme, right? We call this one Cactus Crush, and my patrons named that one. I thought that was super cute. But the cactus can kind of feel tough on the outside, right? But they're soft and sweet when you stylize them with color and fun details. And honestly, I just love giving everyday objects a little whimsical twist, and I think this one does it. I think this kind of painting just doesn't need to be realistic, it just needs to have a little bit of personality. I am using my Meeden watercolor pad, 140-pound cold press, and I've got my Rosa paints. And for this one, I'm using a water brush pen, which makes the blending super easy, keeps things loose. This is a great thing to take with you if you are traveling. And it creates soft edges really quickly. You can pull pigment out for that glow or for highlights, and it keeps the painting from feeling overworked sometimes. If you feel like watercolor gets too tight or detailed, switching to a water brush pen can kind of help you loosen up your style and makes the process feel a little bit more playful, which is why I decided to use it today. Now, if you've never used a water brush pen before, the pen actually holds the water. It does. I remember the first time I ever opened this up, I was trying to open it up the normal way, but you have to open and close this one counterclockwise. I was like, this thing is so stuck. But that wasn't what it was. I was turning it the wrong way. So keep that in mind when you fill it up. So you're just going to fill it up with water. You squeeze it to add more water to your paper. You can squeeze it and use a paper towel to clean it as well. It's a really fun tool to use. I don't actually use this very often as I have so many nice brushes that I love, but this one comes in a little set of 5, and it was something that I hadn't used for a really long time. I used to use them with my alcohol inks, and I would fill them up with alcohol, and they're made for watercolor, but some of them you have to be careful because they have glue in them, and if you get the alcohol in your brush, it can start to eat away at the glue. But this one, it happens to be a twist off, twist on, and I don't believe there is any glue in this one. All right, so when you're painting yours, keep in mind your mood, or what you want to lean towards for your color choices. I love the teals, the blues, and then I started to add some more of the golds, and it got really dark on me. I think I would enjoy probably leaning towards more happy colors, bright greens, maybe turquoise pinks, corals, even purples. So when you're painting something like this playfully, colors can do a lot of the storytelling for you. So you don't need to do heavy details with this one, and make your color palette something that feels happy to you. Sometimes I do these kind of things where I'm testing out the colors just to see what they're going to look like together, and this one can be a lot of fun, like painting rocks. I do that with rocks a lot too, where they don't have to be a specific color, and I can really play with my color wheel and see what color combos I like together. So one tip, I like choosing a limited palette usually, so it feels a little bit more cohesive, and you can even do that when your colors are bright and energetic. So again, I went a little dark with this one. If I were to do it again, I might stick more with those teals, purples, and fuchsia colors, corally colors, pinks, I don't know. But it's a really fun thing to try. Of course, if you like the greens and you like something a little bit more natural, there's nothing wrong with that either. So I'm going to get the color down in here. I'm just playing around with, again, some of those colors and mixing and matching on the paper. This one happens to get a little dry here on the green part of the cactus, so I'm going to rinse my brush off onto my paper towel, and I'm going to try some of the rose shade just to see if I can blend some of that a little bit more. I'm also going to put some up here in with the blues and the purples because I love those colors together. So the green does get a little dry here, and I am going to try to lighten that, which I started to get some hard edges, so I went through and wet the whole thing. So you can see the teals and that rose kind of get very dark, even though I'm squirting a lot of water on here, but you can see where I'm getting those hard edges, which is not what I wanted. This is one of the reasons why I decided to use salt on this one. Again, plans happen along the way. That is my favorite thing about watercolor. When things don't go my way, then that's where I get to play, and I'll try other things. Did not like this color together at all. It got very muddied in there. So I'm trying to pop in some more of that rose shade. If I can get it dark enough, I can cover up that muddy brown, and now we are back to a prettier color. And I'm going to throw a little bit of that same shade into the other hearts. So salt is one of my favorite texture tricks, but the timing is very important. And if you didn't get a chance to watch my salt technique video, I will attach it at the end here so you can check it out. I'm just using some regular table salt. I don't have my mixture of salt in my my beach house here, so I am working on vacation, and so I don't always have everything that I need. But if the paper is too wet, the salt melts. It won't create that texture. If it's too dry, nothing really happens. And of course, that sweet spot is where it's damp or matte, almost matte, where the shine is starting to fade. And I think salt works especially well in something like this, with I've got all these juicy pigments, and it can create that speckled organic texture, which I think is perfect for cactus skin. Also great for backgrounds, or if you want that dreamy color transition. And I always remind people that salt's unpredictable, so treat it like a surprise. It's not always a guarantee. I also wanted to mention, some folks had mentioned last week when I did the salt techniques, they asked about my jar of salt that I have, and if all of those colored pieces I put back in create a problem for my paintings. And I would say I usually use salt in colorful things like this or trees, so I don't really mind any color that gets back into it. But I will also add new salt to it every so often. I will change it out. But if you're looking for something for like snow and you want that stark white, just don't use any of the colored salt. Just go with just the plain new fresh stuff. So I'm kind of painting along in here. You can still paint along when you have the salt in there and play around with it. So that's another fun little thing to do. This painting is really more about staying loose, having fun with it, and letting go of control. And I think instead of worrying about the perfect cactus shapes on this one at symmetry, geez, I'm focusing on more of the gestures, the colors, the texture, and kind of the overall little happy Valentine's vibe. So sometimes I think the most charming paintings are the ones that we let go, and we tend to let watercolor be watercolor. I have also added a few little spiky spikes, and now just a few darker areas to capture some more texture in there. Even though the salt's in there, I think the darkness gives it a little bit of a shadow. So I encourage you, if you're trying this one at home, just let it be a low pressure painting for you. Also will make a great card, but remember, yours doesn't have to look like mine. Yours should look like you. Make your little shapes any way you want. I ended up going with the heart shapes just because I'm doing the Valentine theme, and I think it looks super cute, don't you? So I let it dry for a little while, and then I am just going to scrape off all of that salt. You can use a tissue if that makes it a little bit easier. And you can see here, when I hold my hand out, I don't have a whole lot of color in that salt. It's still pretty white. Well, I kind of caught it off screen there a little bit, but you can sort of see it. This stuff I'm going to just toss away because I don't have my little salt jar here. And I didn't use any different types of salt on this one. This was strictly my iodized regular table salt. So once that's done, you can do a few little bit more details in there if you want to. Again, I kept it a little bit messy and just played around. I used a little bit of white gouache for some highlights, a little pen detail. I was just having some fun with it. So if you enjoyed this loose experimental watercolor, let me know in the comments what your favorite part is about it. I love to create more texture-based or playful projects like this. If you want the longer, more in-depth version of this painting with the extra tips and real-time talk, I am sharing that extended version over on my Patreon, along with the full tutorials of my YouTube channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, I would love to have you over here and check out the salt video next. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next one.